Arcadism is a media theory that investigates crossovers as a method of creation, as well as the origin of streetwear and the expansion of video games. It is the approach that has influenced mainly the thinking of the 90s generation. The era describes mid to late 90s and signifies a decline of American arcades as well as American shopping malls, while also noting the rise of the internet.
Millions of Americans own a personal computer. If you're one of them, you can now glimpse the future with nothing more than a modem, a phone line, and a few dollars a month.
Archives.
Some of the intersections that we're going to talk about have to do with street fashion, media as information, gaming, online subcultures, aesthetics, and art. When we talk about online subcultures, those are like cyberpunk and vaporwave and things of that nature, the sort of internet pockets of information. The whole idea is to kind of collect these different forms of media and acknowledging the decaying of space, the lack of public spaces, which we're obviously going through in a big way right now with coronavirus.
A new study published today identified more than 100 infections in 9 states.
The blossoming of sharing information at rapid speed and downloading information at rapid speed with the internet. So it's this transition of the public space into the cyberspace. Because that transition is there, we're like really interested in how this transformation can be inspiration for a positive lifestyle movement, right? Like, how can we not just love media from the 90s and early 2000s? How can we not just love all of these things, but how can we use it as a basis for improving lifestyle and improving worldviews and improving processes? And the term Arcadism comes from the arcades, right? And that arcades were a public space where you would come together and share information and have fun, basically. Those spaces obviously started to decline. That's kind of what the theory is about on the surface level. It's about these kind of what led up to this point, what sort of crossovers led up to this point. So this is a big story about crossovers, and it's a big story about creating subcultures, and it's a big story about sharing information. And so I think this first video is about the 80s and the 90s and how this kind of all came together. What do you think about kind of what I said and kind of about these theories and ideas?
I think it's pretty great. I think the ideas are